Evening. How are you doing? Good! Did I tell you, I used to work in a cheese factory, but they fired me because I wasn't mature enough. Would I ever make a pun about Norwegian? No way. Do I think amnesia is a problem? Forget about it. Thank you. I'm pretty proud of that one. To all those people who think I should stop making horse puns, I say nay. So, did we actually like school here? A mixed bag, that helps. I hated my school. I thought it was one of those pointless years of my life. And I'm not one of those people who go around going, well, I hated school because it stopped my creative thinking. To be honest, I didn't have much faith in that because I was getting such death stares throughout that voice. And I'm glad it did pay off at the end. But the people who talk so much shit, you can smell it on their breath. And I hated my school because it was a shithole. And it was crap. And my first day wasn't any better than any other days. They tell you your first day is the best day of your life. You'll learn so much, you'll make so many friends. I was completely buggered off that. Because I decided on my first day to go to the wrong school. And it was completely my fault. My dad even escorted me to the school the day before and told me, right, Robert, you get to the end of the road, you turn left. Me, dyslexic as fuck, get to the end of the road, turn right. I ended up at Welling School when I was supposed to be at Bexley Heath School. It took them 2 hours to work out I was in the wrong school. To be fair, you think I would have caught on the fact that I'm wearing Bexley Heath Academy uniform when everyone else is in Welling. But eventually, after these 2 gruelling hours, a teacher did come up to me and say, Robert, are you in the wrong school? And it's one of those questions where the only appropriate response is sarcasm. Because clearly I am in the wrong. It's like one of those questions, or one of those moments in your life, where you take something out of the oven, you put it in your mouth, and you go, and they go, oh, was that hot? Actually, no. It was freezing cold when it came out of the oven, and then I put it in my mouth, and it just combusted in my mouth. I'm glad we sorted that out. And as you can tell, I wasn't exactly the most popular guy on the block. This is a good body for me. I was a lot worse. I was a lot scrawnier, a lot more awkward, believe it or not. And my mother, being a teacher, caught onto this pretty quickly and looked me up and down and went, yeah, he's pretty fucked. Better stop those bullies now. So, any suggestions, if anyone does have kids, or think about having kids, if you didn't want your kid to be bullied, what would you do?
Don't send them to school.
Don't send them to school. I wish my mum did that. Anymore.
Put a helmet on him.
Put a helmet on him. They tried that with me, they just used it as a fucking weapon. So what my mum decided to do was sign me up for sports. Not sports that I'm able to do, like chess. Sorry, laugh at my pain, laugh at my pain. She decided to sign me up for rugby. I'm glad you're funny. I'm doing it. So I went to the tryouts for the rugby team because Mum forced me. But luckily, I was to bring one of my mates who was similar stature to me. So we did the classic thing where I'd pretend to tackle him and I'd get all the glory. And you can tell by me, I'm not the scrawniest. I am quite scrawny actually. What am I chatting about? I'm quite the awkward person. Like you, for example, you could handle anything. You look manly enough to just look at a small dog and go flying across the room. But it's hard for me and you, isn't it? Doing this stuff.
Super scrawny Ryan. First year.
To be honest, I saw your face and then I saw your arms. I was like, fuck. Shouldn't have picked on Ryan. Whoops. So eventually, I did the tryouts. It went fantastically because I made the team. So in an attempt for my mum to stop me from being beaten up, she signed me up for a sport, so I go to other schools to have other kids beat me up. But the only difference was, parents would cheer now, every time I did. But after a long, gruelling argument, I managed to get out of rugby, and she signed me up with 2 new sports, and that was rounders and netball. Nobody told me they were strictly women's sports. So again, same problem. I go to other schools to now be beaten up by girls every day. So that's my past. And it's not exactly a fun one for me, but it's fun for you because you get to laugh at it. And when I come back later, you'll get to learn about my present. And if you buy my DVD, the future. And I'm back. And the present. So as you can tell, I've now moved to Essex, which I was told was the only way. Freaking love that pun. And I've begun to live by myself without parents. And I can, kind of redundant question here, but none of us live with parents now, do we?
No!
Freedom. And you learn a few things, but I live with 8 other people, and it's great, and I love them all. Except for one of them. You know what's coming now. I'm starting to put some shit down. Down. And it's... I can't do gangster. I can't do gangster. And I completely lost my trail of thought. Just give me one... I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm talking shit about. Got it. Let's do this. And it's not like I don't like her. They're not a bad person. There's nothing wrong with them. They just lack common sense. That's the one thing I don't like about them. I love to exploit in this kind of situation. Like, they came in a trolley they'd nicked from a supermarket. And I sort of turned to them and said, "What have you done that for? I don't think you should be doing that." And they turned around to me and said, "It's just because I'm such a down-to-earth person." By Earth, did you mean Mars? And she just... So I managed to keep my cool. That wasn't my initial reaction to what they said. And I asked them, "Okay, why have you done this?" And they returned with, "Well, I've just broken up with my boyfriend, so I can do whatever I want." I'm not bagging on people on breakups. I perfectly understand the fact... I've never been in one, so I'll say that now, but I can... So, I can understand that if you break up with someone, fair enough, have the emotional reaction. You are entitled to have your mad half a day. But it's the second part, so I can do whatever I want. That's the part that bugs me the most, because I could go to court, kill loads of people, and if they ask me, "Sorry, Mr. Jones, what'd you do that for?" "I just broke up with my boyfriend." "Why didn't you say so? Here's the gun! Go to Toys R Us! Have fun! It will be amazing!" And recently, I realised, as I said before, I was quite the nerdy kid. And you can tell on the block that we come from very different popular backgrounds. And she still sees me as a nerd. And I can tell this because we lost our hot water the other week, and she came up to me, just came straight into my room and went, "Robert, the hot water's not working! Fix it!" So, again, I got to use my favourite tool in my belt, sarcasm. I turned around, I went, "Oh, sorry about that." Managed to bend down, show her my crack. "Yeah, Walter's sleeping. We gotta wait for it to wake up. It'll be fine." She didn't like that. She caught onto the sarcasm. And now I'm at drama school, I realise that there is a lecturer who I'm not particularly fond of. They're not in this room, so I can just say what I like. They'll never find out. You'll know who it is. And it's not... I think the best way to describe them, they are the vampire of fun. Just come in and suck it all out. I want to suck your joy. They just make it so weirdly personal when we're in a professional setting. Like today, of all days, I was in front of the class and she randomly made me start talking about my sex life. Which, if you're interested, my sex life is like the Scottish football team. Just never qualify. I do know sports. I do know sports. Completely. Yes, and And when you're away from home, you start realising who you are because you don't have your parents telling you do this, do that, go there, take that out, don't hit that, blah, 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 blah. And you realise I'm discovering, like, I am a fanatic gamer. Are there any other gamers in the room?
Yay!
And we get a lot of hate because they say when kids play games, they reenact the game because it's so violent. I beg to differ. There is a game out there called Saints Row 4 where you can strip down completely naked, get a humongous purple dildo, and beat people to death. And if I ever saw that on the news, I would watch the shit out of that. And to counter my argument, there's another game, GTA 5. We've all played that, haven't we?
Yeah.
Good game, isn't it? Amazing game. And what they've done is they've incorporated microphone technology where now you can rob a store, you can yell into the mic to make them go faster. But what they neglect to do was control what you're supposed to say. So you can say whatever you like while you're mugging someone, and it's the most fun you can ever have. I highly, highly tell you should do this, because you can go up to a random stranger, point your gun at them and go, "I love your shirts! Where did you get your shoes? How are the kids?" I'm severely dehydrated! Oh, it's great fun. Great fun. And I realise another thing, I've become somewhat OCD about politeness. Like, if someone sneezes, I will say bless you, no matter what. I'm like a really shit polite ninja. And another thing I've realised is I love opening, well, not love, that's kind of strong actually. I can't help but open the door for people, no matter what you feel. So if I know you're coming out of that door, I will hold it open and I will wait months to go through that. I won't give up. And because of that, I've invented my own little game. Because if I open the door, someone walks through and they say thank you, I go, "You're welcome." And we have a good day. If they don't say thank you, I'm gonna go, "Prick." Prick. Unfortunately, people have found a way around this. Because if I have the door open, and they stop, and go, "No." And I go, No. You go, I become the prick in the situation. Must have known anything in the world, and I keep losing my place. Oh no, I'm at the end. To be honest, I wanted to end this on a nice, happy, philosophical note, but I've just forgotten my place, so I think that ship has sailed. So the gist of it, have fun, have a good time. If you have a good life, you're a good person, so have good.